I'm going to say something, and if you think I'm wrong, just close this video. Okay? Here it is. You didn't learn how to speak Italian from an Italian grammar textbook. Are you still here? Good. Welcome to my channel. Io sono Miriam Romeo e se capisci l'inglese ma non riesci a parlarlo come vorresti, then I would love to be your English coach. When this video is over, make sure to click on the link in the description box below to get your free pronunciation lesson. I'm going to teach you 5 tips to fix your pronunciation right away. So let's talk about grammar, this invisible monster that makes your linguistic life miserable. And I'm not talking about English grammar, I'm talking about all grammar, grammar in general. We don't learn how to speak by studying grammar rules, do we? Yes, studying grammar helps us improve and perfect our language, but it's not the most important aspect when it comes to learning a language. We need to make one thing clear. It's one thing to study the grammar of a language you already understand and speak, whose sound you're very familiar with, but it's a whole other thing to study the grammar rules of a language you've never really spoken. Because the process is, or should be, this. You first understand, then you speak, and then you perfect it by studying the grammar if you're interested in perfecting it. Do you agree with me? Tell me in the comments below. If your goal is to speak English fluently, you should just put your grammar books aside for now, okay? And the reason for that is that studying grammar actually makes things much harder for you. Think about this. In your daily life, when you're speaking Italian or your first language, if it's not Italian, do you think about the grammar rules before speaking? Do you think about the adjective and where it goes and why, and if you're speaking in a passive form or what tense you're using? Not if you're normal. Grammar weighs your mind down. Before you misunderstand me or before I make some people frown or mad at me, I'm not against grammar. I'm not against speaking correctly. Not at all. But you can totally express yourself correctly and properly in a language without knowing the name of the rule you've just used. Grammar is abstract. We use grammar to analyze languages, to give them structure, but it's not how we learn how to speak. Speaking is natural. Language is real. It helps us communicate. It helps us live. And it lives with us. It evolves with us. Languages are ever-changing. Grammar is deduced from the real language that people speak. It's not the other way around. Because we started speaking long before we invented the concept of grammar. So grammar rules come from the spoken language, from what it sounds like. A rule becomes a rule because something sounds or doesn't sound good in that language. And a rule can change because something starts or stops sounding good. The sound rules. It comes first. I'm going to give you a few examples. In English, there's this rule where you can't use verbs of preference, love, like, etc., and the verb to be after a continuous tense. So in theory, you can say, I'm liking this. But we all know McDonald's slogan, I'm loving it. And in real spoken English, you hear these expressions all the time. I'm loving my new jacket. Why are you being so unreasonable? So sometimes a rule just stops making sense, but you're still going to find it in textbooks. And sometimes things have no explanation. They don't follow a specific rule, but they either sound good or they don't. I'll give you an example from Italian this time. So in Italian, the rule says that most of the time, the adjectives come after the noun. Guarda che cielo blu. Guarda che blu cielo is incorrect. But guarda che bella donna sounds fine. While guarda che donna bella just sounds weird. Why? Because no one says it that way. So if you always hear guarda che bella donna, guarda che bell'uomo, you're going to say it that way too, even though there's no specific rule that explains why guarda che uomo bello or guarda che donna bella are incorrect. Now, I'm pretty sure that there will be updated versions of these rules. Maybe they will be included as exceptions, because that's what grammar does. Grammar is always trying to keep up or catch up with spoken language. The thing is that languages never stay still because people are always changing the way they speak, the way they communicate. So what I want you to take away from all this is to stop worrying about grammar, about all the rules, about all the names of the rules, and instead watch and listen to things where real people speak real English in different kinds of situations, and you'll learn so much more. And if you hear something, maybe something new, Don't overanalyze it. Don't think it in terms of verb, subject, this, after that. Spare yourself all this unnecessary overload. When you hear something, an expression maybe occurring over and over and over in current English and American movies, TV shows, videos, what have you, you can safely start using it yourself without going and study the rule. I hope this helped, and let me know in the comments what you think. And tell me what's something you learned just from hearing it and not from a textbook that surprised you. And now go click on the link to get your free pronunciation lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!